Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Gutsy Christianity, brought to you by ChoiceWriters.com. Elegant copy from the best writers. Again, that's ChoiceWriters.com. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about women within the church and actually the fact that Ruth didn't wait for her Boaz. And so women within the church often think that they can't take initiative in their lives. And single women within the confines of Christianity are told to wait for their Boaz. It's quite the catchphrase, actually. And what that means is to not go out and pursue somebody or take the initiative, or they also use it to indicate not getting hooked up with the wrong guy. But I'm just going to show you from the Bible why Ruth actually didn't wait for her Boaz. So what happened with her is that she walked along a path of action from the start. And so the love story in the Bible between Ruth and a man named Boaz is shorthand for wait on the man God has for you and don't pursue him. He'll pursue you. And this paradigm is a source of frustration for women who are told to sit by hoping a man will notice her, and it means that they are not able to take the initiative. There's no end to the commentaries that suggest that a woman who takes an active role in finding a potential mate will threaten her potential husband's sense of manhood. However, that is not what we find in Scripture. Ruth was a Moabitess who married an Israelite man, the son of Naomi, while living in her homeland. Naomi and her husband Elimelech had left Bethlehem years earlier due to a famine and had settled in Moab. Naomi had two sons, Mahlon and Chilion, who married Ruth and Orpah, respectively, both Moabitesses. They were also sister-in-laws. They both married brothers. And after some time, Elimelech dies, that's Ruth's father-in-law, and the family continues to dwell in Moab. 10 years later, however, and Naomi's two sons also die. With no husband and no sons, Naomi decides to go back to Bethlehem, especially as she hears that there's bread in the land once again. As she prepares for her journey, Naomi urges her daughters-in-law to leave and to go back home to their mothers. After insisting that she go, Orpah leaves Naomi, but Ruth makes an oath that she will not leave her. Ruth turns from the religion of the Moabites and clings to Naomi, forsaking her previous belief and following the God of Israel. Naomi returns to the land of Bethlehem with her daughter-in-law Ruth at her side. Once there, Ruth tells Naomi that she will glean in the field of whosoever she can find favor, and Naomi tells her to go ahead. Ruth moved forward, and God led her to the field of Boaz. Gleaning was a method of procuring food that was available to the poor. Those who had fields and lands were instructed not to retrieve all of their crop, but to leave some for those who were hungry. The unfortunate could then pick enough fruits, vegetables, or grains so that they could live, and this is what Ruth does. She sought to provide for her mother-in-law by her labor, caring for her, as Naomi had no husband and no sons. Ruth worked hard in that field, so much so that the overseer took note of it when speaking about her to Boaz. Also, her reputation of diligence and kindness toward her mother-in-law and her character reached the ears of Boaz as well, and he offered her protection and food. Notice that Ruth did not stand still until the man God had for her came to her. She did not sit idly by, hoping he would show up one day. Instead, she showed up in his field. Ruth's walk with God did not involve passively waiting. She pursued his will for her life. Nowhere in Scripture is there an admonition that she could not pursue a man or that she must wait for him to take the initiative. She's able to use her voice, and she does. In the days of ancient Israel, according to the law, if a woman was bereaved of a husband and there were no offspring, she was to produce an heir with his next of kin. The relatives of the deceased were referred to as a kinsman redeemer. Boaz was a relative of Elimelech, so he was eligible to marry Ruth. When Naomi heard about the pleasant exchange between Boaz and Ruth, she advised Ruth to wash up and to dress in her best clothes and to even put on perfume. In other words, she got dolled up and looked attractive. She's to go to the place where Boaz is lying one night, and as he is sleeping, she's to uncover his feet and lay down. She agrees and follows Naomi's plan. When she does this, he wakes up startled and asks, "Who is there?" She tells Boaz that it is she, Ruth, and she proposes to him that he spread his garment over her because he is a guardian redeemer of his family. In plain English, she is letting him know that she is available, wants to get married, and is asking him to be the one. She didn't wait for Boaz to initiate anything. At this point, Boaz tells her that there is another kinsman redeemer closer in relation to her, and he praises her noble character, which is known throughout the area. He says that if this other man will not perform the duty of a kinsman, then he surely will. She lays at his feet all night until morning. Boaz did not balk at her asking him to marry her. In fact, he went out the very next day to settle the matter. Naomi herself assured Ruth he would not rest until he found an answer. It seems safe to say that he was in a hurry to figure this thing out and that he was enthusiastic. The next day, he speaks to his relative publicly, asking if he will perform the duty of a kinsman toward Ruth, and he says that he cannot. Boaz then announces in front of many witnesses that he will take Ruth as his wife, and many blessings are spoken over them. Ruth gives birth to a baby who will later become the grandfather of King David and who will enter the lineage of Jesus Christ. Nowhere in her story did Ruth sit and wait for her man. Nowhere did she fret because he didn't ask her out first. She told him what was up. He was interested. End of story. We sometimes make things more complicated than we have to when we create standards that are not in the Bible. Nothing is wrong with a girl asking a boy out, or if she should signal her interest to him and taking things to the next level. Nowhere does it say that a girl cannot move forward with her life, working and developing her character until she finds the one. Single Christian women often fear being judged if they should begin an honest conversation with someone of the opposite sex regarding their desires, and this leads to a suppressing of her natural personality when in the company of someone with whom she would like to have a relationship. Boaz did not walk past Ruth's house one day, but he did look out into the field and see her working there doing her thing. She popped the question, and he was obviously impressed. The rest, as they say, is history. And so if you're in that situation and you've heard people tell you that you need to wait for your Boaz, you can look at the book of Ruth and remember that she actually didn't wait for her Boaz. She went out and she worked hard in the field, provided for herself and her mother-in-law, and she went to where he was sleeping and she proposed. She made a honorable proclamation of marriage, and he was absolutely enthusiastic at the idea of that. And they were so blessed that they became part of the lineage of Jesus Christ. So if that isn't God's blessing, I don't know what is. And so I would just encourage you that if you find yourself in a season of waiting, just follow God and understand that following him and waiting doesn't always have to be passive waiting. It doesn't mean beating down the door either, but a lot of times, as they say, it's hard to pilot a moored ship, meaning you've got to get that boat in the water and you've got to start going out there and just absolutely seeing what God has for you. If you go to the meeting at church and you go to the small group study that they have afterward and you think that there's something there that God has for you, absolutely go for it. The doctrine of waiting for men to initiate things is really it's something that's well-intentioned, but when we add to the scripture, it can become legalistic. And not every man has a personality that is forthright and outgoing. Many men are shy, and it's not always. And then sometimes women feel shame also if they would be the ones to initiate or to signal interest or to be the ones that are more forthright and outgoing. And there's nothing wrong with speaking your mind. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being an honest person that wants to tell somebody that you like them. It happens every day. Be blessed. Thank you for tuning in to Gutsy Christianity. We're going to have some songs for you by myself and my husband. You can find me and my blog online at gutsychristianity.com. On Facebook, I am at www.facebook.com/Rosa Hopkins Writing, all one word. And again, this was brought to you by Choice Writers, a blog writing service. So if you have a business and you would like the best writers, you can go to choicewriters.com and get elegant copy from the best writers. Again, that's choicewriters.com.
Give the giver credit, give your maker praise. The gentle breeze is on your skin, the warm sunshine rays. And when you live and stop to think of all the gifts he gave, Give the giver credit, give your maker praise. The tender hands which cherish thee, whosever they may be. Husband, wife, a longtime friend, a mother elderly. The laughter of small children, the smile of a baby. All who make your life so rich are far from ordinary. Give the giver credit, give your maker praise. The gentle breezes on your skin, warm sunshine rays. And when you're living, stop to think of all the gifts he gave. Give the giver credit, give your maker praise. The joyful strains of music are what I like to hear. All the songs that I could want, he gave unto my ear. Lyric, verse, and melody, and themes of love divine, satisfies my yearnings deep in melody sublime. Give the giver credit, give your maker praise. The gentle breezes on your skin and warm sunshine rays. And when you're living, stop to think of all the gifts he gave. Give the giver credit, give your maker praise. To live in, a car we have to drive, clothes and shoes and all those things we need just to survive. But do we ever notice that the Lord with outstretched hand has given even more than this? He gave us all we have. Give the giver credit, give your maker praise. The gentle breezes on your skin, warm sunshine rays. And when you live and stop to think of all the gifts he gave. Give the giver credit, give your maker praise. Give the giver credit, give your maker praise.
All right, that was our song Give the Giver Credit off of our first album, Give Me a Song to Sing. If you like that song and you'd like to hear some others, we have that one for free and a lot of other music we have for free that you can download. If you go to joeandrosahopkins.com, you can find it there. And you can find us on Facebook at Joe and Rosa Hopkins. You can find Rosa on Facebook at facebook.com/Rosa Hopkins Writing, and you can find her blog at gutsychristianity.com. We certainly enjoy spending these Sundays with you, and we'd love for you to come back next week. We'll be same channel, same time as you're hearing us this week. And once again, you can visit our sponsor at choicewriters.com. Elegant copy from the best writers. So if you have a blog and you need content, they can help you with that. And, well, God bless you all, and we'll be back again next week. Thank you from Gutsy Christianity.